Well, week 3 on the high school gridiron kicks off roughly 48 hours from now. Doug Heater will be in studio tomorrow to help us set the stage for another terrific week of action. Before that, though, let's first put a wrap on week 2 with this week's edition of Top Plays and Prime Time Performers. We begin this week at Nazareth, where the Blue Eagles got a little payback against Parkland after last year's 43-40 setback. Not nearly as many total points scored this time around, but that doesn't mean senior signal caller Sonny Sasso still didn't leave his mark. The state wrestling champ finishing 17 for 23 passing for 196 yards and a pair of scores. Sasso connecting with both Nolan Lobb and Frankie Miraz in the third quarter as part of the Blue Eagles' comeback bid Friday night against the Trojans. The biggest play of Friday's showdown at Andrew S. Lay Stadium came with just under 5 minutes left in the second quarter. 5-yard running plays aren't often featured on Top Plays, but then again, very few 5-yard rushes are as impressive as the one Mason Keener ripped off Friday night. With the game tied at 7, Keener appears bottled up at the 15, but the junior is able to use his quickness and athleticism to turn a 10-yard loss into a go-ahead touchdown. That score putting the Blue Eagles in front 14-7. They'd go on to top the Trojans 28-10 and are now 2-0 out of the chute. Another impressive rushing performance came Friday in Bethlehem, where Whitehall senior running back Nigel Linton helped spark a come-from-behind win for the Zephyrs. Whitehall down 22-6 midway through the third quarter would come all the way back to defeat Liberty 33-22, thanks in part to the play of Linton. Carried the ball 25 times for 98 yards and a couple of scores. The senior also with a 7-yard TD catch that was part of the comeback bid, before ripping off this 45-yard scoring scamper that sealed the first win of the new campaign for the Zaps. Whitehall now 1-1 in advance of Friday's showdown with Emmaus. The Green Hornets, meanwhile, are 2-0 through the season's first 2 weeks, turning in another defensive gem Friday against Central Catholic. Just a week after shutting out Freedom in the second half of the Hornets' 19-13 victory, Emmaus held the Vikings to just 7 points and 143 yards of total offense. Dylan Darville with a turning point play on D when he intercepted this Matt Keyes pass for a 74-yard pick six. But Darville wasn't alone. Senior Aiden Garrett recorded a team-high 10 tackles, while fellow classmate E.J. Boney notched 3 sacks and 4 tackles for loss. Hornets are 2-0 now for the third straight season. Emmaus wasn't the only one locking it down on D over the weekend. Bethlehem Catholic now 2-0 as well after a 21-0 win over Pocono Mountain West. Senior Izzy Robbins with the play of the day on defense, with this 30-yard interception returned for a touchdown. The Golden Hawks limiting the Panthers to under 100 yards of total offense, posting their first shutout since a 17-0 win over Blue Mountain back on November 7th of 2020. Becca has now outscored its first 2 opponents 56-7 in advance of Friday's test with Nazareth. Meanwhile, a team that's off to a 2-0 start in the Colonial Schuylkill League is Northern Lehigh. The Bulldogs last Thursday picking up their first win over Northwestern Lehigh since 2016, thanks in part to a dynamic effort out of the backfield by senior Isaiah Ramos, who racked up over 100 total yards and 3 touchdowns. The senior with 36 yards on the ground and a trio of scores, also hauling in 5 grabs for 68 yards, as the Northern Lehigh seniors earned their first career win over Northwestern and just the Bulldogs' second victory against the Tigers in the last 9 meetings. Finally, over 100 total yards is impressive. North of 200 is just showing off. But that's exactly what Southern Lehigh tailback Cade Sawyer did Friday in guiding the Spartans to a come-from-behind win at Notre Dame. The junior toting the rock 32 times for a ridiculous 200 yards rushing, which included an 11-yard TD scamper. Sawyer also hauling in 3 grabs for 39 yards, which featured a 24-yard TD connection that tied the ball game at 21-all. Before the bruising running back converted Southern Lehigh's 2-point try with just over 2 minutes left in regulation.